Logic has been cast aside by far too many people, but not here. We're going to get into logic using Cowboy Logic with Donna Fiducia and Neuen on this episode of United Patriots Uprising with Gary Binford. I'm your host, Gary Binford. Thanks for joining us. This podcast is available at radioinfluence.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Hope you subscribe to it, leave a rating and a review, and be sure to tell your friends about the show. This is our second video podcast, the first being former star actress, conservative commentator Morgan Brittany. You can find the video podcast at radioinfluence.com. You can find it at Rumble, YouTube, and Conservative Television of America. You know, the world's going stark raving mad, and people we're just losing all types of reality. And there's woke, there's cancel culture, there's all these things going on. What can we do about it? We'll make some sense of it with people that have a logical approach. That's for sure. Are you ready? Well, let's get into it. When I've introduced this dynamic duo before, I used to compare them to other great dynamic duos, but I'm going to stop doing that. Because most dynamic duos that we know, they're in entertainment. They're either singing, they're either dancing, or doing something to give us good vibrations. But this dynamic duo is taking it to another level because they have been fighting, and I really mean fighting, unabashedly, no holds barred, with no filters for we, the people. And I've seen it firsthand 3 years in a row down at the Rock the Red Conservative Convention in Greenville, South Carolina, where they were the MCs, bringing on people like Roger Stone, Lara Trump, Mike Lindell, and Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. So I am glad to bring back to the show the co-host of the show Cowboy Logic, which is on Real America's Voice television network, Donna Fiducia and Neuen. How are you?
Well, Gary, I thought we were Sonny and Cher.
What's up, brother Gary?
Hey, Don. Yeah, you know, last time, what did we do? I did Sonny and Cher, Sam and Dave, and everything, and then Don acted up. So I said, no. But I really mean this, you know, because most people who are known to be a duet or duo, it's an entertainment. Now, what you do is highly entertaining, but it's as serious as a heart attack. So please tell everybody, what is Cowboy Logic? Why should we use Cowboy Logic? And tell them about the show.
I'll let Don do this.
Okay.
He's the cowboy, really. I wrote English before I became a cowgirl, so I don't really count.
Cowboy Logic started in 2008, Gary, as on social media, where I just basically ranted. And sometimes these rants would last for days, you know, with the interaction there on Facebook and social media. And so throughout the next few years, there were people that were telling us, hey, you guys ought to do a radio show. You know, the whole video thing wasn't real big back then. It was all kind of starting up with internet radio during that time frame. And so Donna and I were looking at each other in 2013, I think is what it was. And actually, Donna was looking at the television, screaming at it like it could somehow affect
and his son is going,
outcome.
They don't hear you, Donna. They don't hear you. And I'm like, but it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic.
And so we had a recording studio in the house for recording music, and we just simply converted that into a radio studio. And we started broadcasting internet radio. We got picked up by a couple of terrestrial stations and some internet radio networks that picked us up. Ron Phillips did a lot, was very instrumental in that.
Yes.
And
Mojo 50.
Mojo 50. I met Ron. Yes.
Yep. He's a good, solid patriot. At any rate, during COVID, we got talked into, and this was again by Ron and Rocky Stucci.
Right.
We got talked into going in front of the camera, and initially it was just going to be Donna. And
who has done that before? Because she was one of the original Fox News
Yeah, but
female
I
anchors.
don't want to
Yeah.
put makeup on. I didn't want to put
Yeah, she didn't
makeup
wanna
on.
We
do it.
like you in makeup. But
Yeah,
we
but
see
for
when you
many,
get
many,
all
many
dolled up
years,
down in
man.
South Carolina, you look great.
I was trying to retire, Gary.
Well,
I
she
mean,
always told me, hey, listen, if I got to put makeup on, I'm getting paid to do it again. Well, ends up that she did a few episodes with Rocky Stucci on the Situation Room, and we kind of built a makeshift video studio, at that point. And then she said, you know what? I just don't like doing this without you, because at that point I was kind of behind the scenes doing the technical stuff. So we just decided at that point that we would kind of both of us figure out a way to get on camera and start doing the video thing. Well, not long after that, we got a call from Real America's Voice, and they wanted to add Cowboy Logic as a weekly series on Real America's Voice. And that was huge, Gary, because, with internet radio and things like that, it's kind of a crapshoot of whether you're going to have a significant footprint.
So please tell me, what is Cowboy Logic? I know, but tell the people what Cowboy Logic is and what are some of the things that are hot button issues on your show right now.
It's common sense.
Cowboy Logic is a politically incorrect, common sense, no holds barred opinion show. And we touch on all various subjects in which we bring in subject matter experts, many of which and you've had on your show, whether it's from national defense and national security, international military aspect, medicine, J6, politics, the whole 9 yards. We will bring in subject matter experts and have long form interviews. If they go watch, if some of these people go on to like Fox or ABC or NBC alphabet networks, they're going to get maybe a 3-4 minute hit, and that's going to be it. And they're going to have a lot of hosts that are not listening to the guest, and they've got pre-printed questions that they ask.
Greta Van Susteren.
Yeah, and that basically sucks. Yeah. And so, our objective is we're not scripted. We listen to the guests that we've got, and we ask pertinent questions based on what they say. Now, there's times when we got to move them in certain directions, or if they haven't done a lot of interviews, we got to keep them in their lane. But outside of that, the interviews are about our guests, and that's pretty much where we're coming from. It's a weekly series. It's a 2-hour-long show. Where we have been focusing lately on is the whole January 6th situation.
Okay, wrap it down. Tell people, because the last time we were together in Greenville a couple years ago, we had people talking about J6. That's when you unveiled the national anthem that I have played on this show. And we learned and heard firsthand and saw a video of what really went down that America still doesn't know about. And my question to you, are you shocked that the powers that be have been able to keep this under wrap this long?
Yeah, actually. And you saw 2,000 Mules at that convention as well, which was huge. And
the Nest
but it's so
movie. Yeah.
It's so bizarre. Like 2,000 Mules works there, but it doesn't work.
The technology.
The technology. Obviously, it works for Jan 6ers because that's how they're finding all these people. They're using facial recognition, everything. But when it comes for Antifa and BLM, not so much. It's like selective prosecution. And that is really a huge problem. Now, in the last couple of weeks, we've played Jan 6, A True Timeline. It's a movie put out by Dave Sumrall. And he is a Jan 6er.
He was at Rock the Red. He was at Rock the Red.
Right. Yep. And his website is stophate.com. And this is like his 3rd or 4th movie he's put together with a bunch of other Jan 6ers. They've worked on it. But it took 3 years to put this timeline together because all of the evidence really has been withheld. You've got the sham J6 committee saying this happened and that happened, and they actually show videos of Trump saying to march to the Capitol, and they edit out the word peacefully. It changes the whole narrative. And I hate to say it, it goes back to so many things that the mainstream media has tried to rile people up about by selectively picking certain parts of the video. You see a guy being attacked, but you don't see what led up to that attack in so many cases and so many news items. And you know, or you suddenly won't hear about a shooter because they might be trans, because they don't fit the narrative. These mass shooters that have sadly occurred, these mass shootings that have occurred recently. So it's, as part of the mainstream media that I was for 35 years, the biggest, you know, place in the world practically for media, which was New York City, I saw this degradation. I can talk. I saw initially you were able to tell your story, but then you had to use certain words, like you couldn't say pro-life. You had to say anti-abortion. That was a biggie. And those little subtle things that start permeating into the culture, unfortunately, tends to, as the generations grow and we have new generations, it's really sad, because half the kids that are out there now that are about to vote don't think 9/11 was that big a deal, or don't think it even really happened,
or think we actually deserved it.
Right, and that's even worse. Yeah. I mean, look at what Hamas protesters have been doing. Pro-Hamas, that's pro-terrorism. That is a domestic terrorist right there. Not somebody who carries a flag around, waves it around, sings the national anthem, and then gets shot by police, like happened on January 6th with tear gas and rubber bullets, and in Ashley Babbitt's case, murdered, and nothing happens. Michael Byrd, who assassinated Ashley Babbitt, got a promotion. He's still there. I mean,
most of them did.
Yeah, most of them
Gary,
did.
you know, there's something else about that is significant about January 6th. And we started to see this about a year and a half ago. And that is that, you know, for decades, our fellow Black Americans have been screaming about the injustices within the justice system.
Right.
And January 6th has opened up the eyes of many people that haven't had to walk in those shoes, to be able to understand and relate, and have things hit a lot closer to home with what's going on and been going on for decades with our fellow Black Americans. And it's not to say that all incarcerated people, whether they're Black or white, are unjustly incarcerated. There's a lot of people that deserve to be locked up. But this one moment in time, January 6th, opened eyes of millions of Americans as to what's really going on, not only in the justice system, but in our Bureau of Prisons and our jails, both state and federal.
Yeah.
And that was an important lesson for Americans to learn.
It's still going on. It's
Don,
horrible.
I hear you, Donna. Do you think the truth will ever get out? And do you think the powers that be that are suppressing it can ever afford to let it get out? Because if it does, they're finished. And please tell people what you say. What is the stance you take in regard to January 6th on your show?
Well, the stance that we take with regard to, well, let me back up and answer your first question. It is getting out.
Yeah, it's slowly getting out. It's getting out.
Those that are squelching it have a great deal at risk if this thing gets overturned, or if the light is actually shown on this. The position that we take with regard to Cowboy Logic in January 6th is that our primary focus has been give a voice to Jan 6ers. Now, the majority of those have been a voice of Jan 6ers behind bars. Cowboy Logic has done more interviews with Jan 6ers from behind bars than any national, I would go as far to say, as all other national level television shows combined. We're getting up in the neighborhood of 150 to 175 interviews. Okay. Again, they're all long format. Minimum, you're talking, about a 12-minute segment, giving somebody that kind of time behind bars. And once these guys move out of, pre-trial and pre-sentencing detention in the D.C. jail and others, then they move into the Bureau of Prisons. That's when the interviews stop.
Yeah,
we're not allowed to do them from the from the Bureau of Prisons. But it's important that their stories be told. Now, some of the J6ers that we have interviewed, we have found to be either telling us half-truths or, kind of twisting around a little bit. But I would say 95% of the Jan 6ers that we've interviewed have been shooting us straight and giving us interviews that are full of integrity.
Well, I hope this comes out because I have seen footage, you've seen footage, and what is going on is horrible that something like this could happen in America. Donna, before you say anything else, I want you to address the next issue that we need to get to, and that is all things President Trump. Can you believe what has happened? Can you believe what they are trying to do and continue to try and do? Could you ever perceive this happening in our America? And we're doing this interview 2 days before the Iowa caucus. So let's talk about what is going on with these elections.
Well, let me ask you, are you going to vote for Donald Trump, Gary?
Absolutely.
Then you ain't black.
Well, I'm born again Christian, and you know that. I lost the black part when I became a follower of Jesus. So
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Remember, when I was black, until 1997, I just voted for Democrats because I thought they're the ones that help us. Yeah, look at how much they're helping. I could never understand this. And people, when we're down at Rock the Red in Greenville, after it's over, Saturday night, Don, myself, Claire Lopez, and a couple other people, Trevor Loudon's been there, K. Carl Smith, we'll get together until 2 or 3 in the morning and solve all the problems in the world that nobody else can seem to solve. It still behooves me how so many black people saw their bank accounts go up, got jobs, saw everything that President Trump did, finally had somebody that was a Republican that walked the walk that he talked, and then the second time still didn't vote for him.
Well, I was referring to Charlemagne the God, with the interview he did, with Biden. I mean, how does Biden get away with this? How does he get away?
Me.
It's just amazing to me. I really think that, it doesn't matter what color you are. The American people are seeing through this stuff. I hate to say it. The election is seriously stolen. I mean, you have a guy who can't even fill a round circle, and Trump has, millions of people. There are probably close to 1 million people on January 6th in Washington, D.C. And you're going to tell me that Biden had 81 million votes? So is that one song that Carrie Lake has, 81 million votes, my horse? I mean, come on. But with Trump, it's almost like the Republicans have to earn their keep over and over again. But the slightest thing he says wrong gets highlighted. It's like he's under a magnifying glass. I mean, how do you have somebody going to trial with this woman, E. Jean Carroll, who I remember, she was married to John Johnson, who was a big anchor in New York City.
New York City,
he's a black guy, right?
Channel 7, I think, ABC News.
And that she was married to him. She would call him derogatory, racist names in public. And then she says she can't remember where Trump, apparently attacked her in the, dressing room at Bergdorf's. She can't remember the day. She can't remember the year. It's obviously past the statute of limitations, but it still goes to trial. Whereas you have a laundry list of stuff that Biden Inc. has done, including our national sovereignty, selling it out to the CCP, which is pretty obvious at this point, and yet nothing happens.
Donna, Don, one of you, either one, both of you, how is the media getting away with this? Because see, if the media did its job, they'd all be in jail. So how are they getting away with this?
It's the Smith-Munt Act, and Donna can elaborate on that big time.
MUNDT, the Smith-Mundt Act. And Jovan Hutton Pulitzer enlightened so many people to this probably 2-3 years ago when we had him on our show. It's an act that was put in the 1940s when these two congressmen thought, well, you know what? The D.C. swamp is getting a little too chummy, and there's too many quote-unquote journalists that are intermingling, so to speak, with a lot of these politicians. And they put a stop to it and basically said, sure, you can have a relationship, but you better damn well be sure that what you ever put on the air is the truth, or else you can be personally held liable for it. So you had to actually be a journalist, or you could be sued. Well, guess who got rid of the Smith-Mundt Act in 2010? That would be one Barack Obama. So that actually put into motion the fact that these journalists, quote unquote, could lie. And what they've become is, we used to laugh at Pravda as an arm of the Soviet Union. That's pretty much what they've become. They are an arm of the Democrat. It's not even the Democrat Party. It's the Rhino Party. Look at Mike Johnson now.
There you go. I hear what you're saying. How do you see this election coming up? And can we limit the fraud to enough that the votes actually count?
We need a tsunami, that's for sure. You know, with Donald Trump's mugshot, and I've been told since that Martin Luther King's mugshot was what gave him street cred, so to speak, and it woke a lot of people up to what he was trying to say. I think that's happening with Donald Trump. It really was the mugshot heard around the world. And I think a lot of people are seeing what's going on with the illegals. They're seeing that their kids are being pulled out of school so illegals can live in their schools. They're trying to get, if you're a veteran, you're trying to get help, and instead you're being thrown out on the street. They're giving brand new housing. Up in Maine, they built a whole new housing project just for illegals, brand new. They can stay there rent-free for 2 years.
Yeah, this stuff makes my head explode. And Donna, you know, our friend, and Don, your friend, Clara Lopez, she will be the next guest on the next show talking about the border and the open border. So they're going to shut us down for the virus, right? Shut us down. Only strip clubs and basically, you know, liquor stores. Maybe you can get something. But so they shut us down, and now everybody's coming across. Nobody knows what they have. They can bring diseases from other countries. Haven't had shots. Could have the virus, and nobody cares.
And they're fighting age men, or they're young women who are going to be trafficked.
Get ready for Virus X, Gary.
Oh, boy.
Klaus Schwab's already talking about it. They've already got the drug manufacturers working on a vaccine for a drug they haven't even identified yet publicly. And
how does that make sense?
Yeah, just get ready for it. It's supposed to be 20 times more lethal than COVID-19. And, you know, here's the bottom line. They got to stop at nothing to prevent Donald Trump from walking in that Oval Office again.
It protects their backside.
And I mean nothing.
Yeah.
And that distresses me to say. But 8 or 9 months ago, we were interviewing Carrie Lake, and I brought up this topic of them stopping at nothing and alluded to the fact of what nothing means. And
nothing means nothing this time.
Nothing means
anything.
I hope he's got a vest on.
They're guilty of treason, and so many people. So many people know they are going down for the count. They cannot allow him in. But I say God is sovereign. He will not be mocked. And if God wants him back in, he's getting in there. You know, now that I've gone to a video TV format, it puts us into a little time frame. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and hanging out with me for a while. And please tell people about your show and where they can get it and anything else you would like to promote it as it involves you.
You can find us at cowboylogic.us. That's the best place to go just to find everything about the show, the schedule, where how to find it on Real America's Voice. So I'm going to leave it with cowboylogic.us. But, Gary, I want to take a couple of minutes of our plugging our own show time and give you a big hat tip, man. We've known you for a long time. You're an unbelievable patriot. You're an unbelievable friend. You are knowledgeable, you are resourceful, and you are dedicated. And we are so proud of the fact that you've moved into the video realm because nobody deserves to make that kind of a move more than you. We are grateful for your friendship, and we thank you for all of the work that you do.
I'm humbled by that, Donna, and I thank you because my start is greatly because of you two, because when I went to South Carolina that first year for Rock the Red, I'll never forget, I met you, you put your arms around me, and we took a picture, you, myself, and Kevin Jackson, and you guys gave me credibility as Claire Lopez, Trevor Loudon, John Guandolo, Tom Holman. As they were walking around and I'm introducing myself, it's like they're looking at you. Can I trust this guy? You know, Jovan and everybody. And you opened the door, Tom Del Beccaro. I remember all the people I met. And because you showed me kindness, they said, I guess he's all right. And they all came on. So I thank you very much. Keep on doing what you're doing. Keep up the good fight. Until the next time, God bless you. God bless your family.
Thanks, Gary, so much.
See you, brother. We love you, man.
Bye-bye.
Love you too. There you have it. Donna Fiducia and Don Neuen, Cowboy Logic. Please check it out. It's dynamite and it's the truth. The left has gone stark raving mad. That's for sure, America. But we don't have to join them. So I want to thank Donna Fiducia and Don Neuen for coming back and bringing sanity to a situation of insanity. Rock on, Donna and Don. Keep doing what you're doing because we need this more than ever now, the voices of truth. This podcast is available at radioinfluence.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Hope you subscribe to it, leave a rating and a review. And be sure to tell your friends about the show. The video of this podcast you can find at radioinfluence.com, Rumble, YouTube, and Conservative Television of America. And the podcast audio file, you can be found on this page, and there's 150 high-profile guests who've already been on the show, the likes of, Will Witt, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, Monica Crowley, Ben Carson, Judge Janine Pirro, Naomi Wolf, Kevin Sorbo, Tom Holman, Carrie Lake, Christina Bobb. The list goes on and on and on. Dr. Carol Swain. Please check out that archive. You'll find a lot of people that I'm sure you would like to listen to. Well, that's a wrap for now, everybody. So until the next time, this is your host, Gary Benford, saying God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless America.